Bend the knee!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Don Woolley coming back at you again, talking spoilers for Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 7, The Gift. So, this one, look, I don't see how anyone could really have a problem with this one. I know there were a lot of people who had issues with the last episode, particularly the rape scene involving Sansa Stark and Ramsay Bolton. This time, no rape scenes. Yay. Right? So, we start off with Jon Snow in the least amount of time that we have ever seen him in the show. Any other time that we've actually gotten an episode where Jon is involved, he's been in there for, not a majority, but, it hasn't been just a single scene. This time, it was literally him saying goodbye to Sam and the people at Castle Black and leaving, and that was it. Like, wow, okay, not getting anything about his journey beyond the wall, nothing. So, I guess they had to do that just so you wouldn't be confused as to how the hell is he all the way up north yet, and we never saw him leave to begin with, for the next episode, right? Then we get Sam, pretty much trying to deal with how he's going to cope with Jon not being there anymore, and also how the Night's Watch are going to treat him now that he doesn't have Jon to stick up for him. We get the death of Maester Aemon, who is the oldest person that we have in the show, with the exception of the Three-Eyed Raven. He's the one person in recent memory who has died of natural causes. The last being Hoster Tully back in season 2, I think. And that was interesting with Aemon. They didn't do the whole going to Bravos and then jetting back on the way to Old Town. But Aemon does tell Gilly to get little Sam out of there. Because winter is coming, and when that snow starts to hit, and the White Walkers come down, nobody really wants to be there. So, I like the fact that they threw in stuff about Aegon the Fifth, but I really wish that that we would have gotten more backstory. But who knows? Maybe they'll actually do a Tales of Dunk and Egg. I mean, that should be a lot less cost prohibitive for HBO to do that, since it wouldn't involve as much CGI. Because it's mainly Sir Duncan Atoll and Aegon V traveling the countryside. It's not a lot having to do with them being in castles, and there are no dragons, so they can't use the excuse of too much CGI for the budget. And also at that particular time, I believe there also wasn't any magic in the world, so they should be able to do that show without it being a strain on the budget. But I digress. So we get the death of Aemon, and also we get his funeral scene. And Alistair Thorne, man, Alistair Thorne is a dick. Some people in the chat last night with Donna Kraken Witt and Sir L.T. Giles were saying, they just thought that was a warning. He didn't have to warn him right then and there. They could have warned him at another date and time. Not right as Aemon is on the damn pyre. That, just in poor taste. But, later on we get the scene with the two members of the Night's Watch attempting to rape Gilly, and Sam sticks up for her, gets his ass kicked, and, kudos to Sam for saying, hey, you know what, I'm not just going to lay here and let you rape this woman. He was willing to die in defense of her, but he was doing his duty as Night's Watchman and not just as Gilly's lover or love interest or whatever you like to call it. But we got Ghost, so I'm interested in seeing what having Ghost still be at Castle Black means. Like for you show watchers who have not read the books at all, there is something that happens at the end of A Dance with Dragons, and it requires Ghost being at Castle Black, but it also requires Jon being there, and we don't know if Jon is going excuse me. We don't know if Jon is going to make it back to the Wall before the end of the season. So I'd like to see what happens with that. Man, it's green tea. Anyway, so what else do we get in the episode? We get Dorne. So we get Jaime. Jaime obviously not thrown in a dungeon, unlike Bronn, and interestingly enough, they send in Marcella. Ariel Hota is like, hey, if you want proof that we haven't harmed your niece, here you go. So she comes in and she's like, hey, well, you know what? My mom sent me here. I never wanted to come. And now she's talking about I got to go back. And I don't want to go back. I'm trying to stay with Trystane, etc., etc. Jaime's like, hey, well, nah, you got to go back because, things and reasons. And she's like, yeah, fuck you, you're not my father. Nah, not in those words, but you know what I mean. So that was pretty interesting because now, if he can't convince her to go back, then what is supposed to happen? Because this is definitely different from the books. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, then we get Bronn with his lovely singing voice in the dungeons in Dorne, him and Sand Snakes, and like I said, I always thought that he was poisoned. I was wrong about the fact that he's going to die, at least in that particular manner. But he was definitely poisoned. That's kind of a thing you could see from a mile away. And Tyene entices him to get his blood flowing so that the poison acts a little bit faster throughout his system, which, hey, yeah, she got my blood flowing. So, yeah, bring on the poison. Yeah, no, I'm sounding crazy right now. It's all good though. But that was that was a little over the top because seriously, from what we know about people of Dorne and pretty much how not only how they hate the Lannisters, but hate anybody who's aligned with the Lannisters. I can't imagine them, any one of them saying, "Oh, well, yeah, I like you, so I'm gonna let you live. Here's the antidote." I can more imagine saying, "Oh, yeah, sorry, bro, you're dying." So that part was a little unrealistic for me, but it is what it is. We'll see I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be a particular payoff for that. You know, maybe they'll strike a bargain later or something. And again, I'm not privy to any of this, like anyone else. So I'm just speculating at this point. But I think that there might be some kind of bargain struck between Bronn and the Sand Snakes. We'll see. Winterfell. So we get Sansa, who is apparently she's been repeatedly raped by Ramsay, and we're not sure exactly what the time frame is or how long that this has been going on. I would imagine, I'd say at least a week, at minimum. You see her arms all bruised up, so Ramsay has not only been sexually abusing her and raping her, but also, physically and other manners as well, because, her arms were crazy bruised up. Reek comes in and she's like, oh, well, light this candle, blah, 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 and he keeps on telling her, I'm Reek. And I actually had a friend watching with me last night, and she was like, "Oh well, he's gonna wind up doing it." I'm like, "Listen, he keeps telling her my name is Reek. I'm not Theon Greyjoy." And Sansa don't want to listen. Then we see what happens with that one. And I think when she actually met up with Ramsay after that, I think that she thought that, yeah, okay, I'm going to get rescued. I can take all these jabs at him. It's like, yo, Reek told you don't know Ramsay. You don't know what he's capable of. Don't mess with the dude. The dude is off his rocker. And she wasn't really trying to hear it, and she's up there like, oh, yeah, you're just a bastard, and, this, that, and the third. And, when he hit her with the whole, yeah, well, your brother's a bastard, and, he's Lord Commander, and don't sleep. He was like, oh, yeah, and, I almost forgot what I brought you here for. I don't know how he found out about that woman in particular, but, obviously he did, and he flayed her alive, and she died before he got to really get the brass tacks on her, He's preparing for Stannis. Stannis is preparing to march because Stannis is like, hey, well, look, we only have really this one opportunity. We don't know how long winter is going to last. And Davos is like, oh, we should go back to Castle Black. Stannis is like, yo, stop being a damn wimp. Ready the horses and let's go. And, in a non-shocking turn of events, Melisandre is like, oh, well, yeah, you want to be king, kill your daughter. I don't know who couldn't see that one coming. That was obvious. Between the scheming with her and Selyse, and also just her attitude when it comes to, you got to make sacrifices in order to become king, and this, that, and the third. And, your daughter and your family mean nothing next to the wishes of the Lord of Light. And it's one of those things where, I was thinking to myself, this is the thing that's got me like, oh, well, you know what? Stannis is a dead man. Because if that wasn't the case, why do all this foreshadowing in a manner in which we haven't seen Stannis before? I hope I'm wrong. I don't want Stannis to die because he's actually started to grow on me as a character. But, this series especially has kind of shown us when characters become more likable, or we think that they could rise to greatness, something brings them down, and could be quite tragic for them. So who knows? But and yeah, we got the little cameo by Brienne waiting for the candle. I'm like, damn, you. I'm wondering how long she's been camped outside of Winterfell like that, because if she can see the candle from there, that means she's not too far. But damn it, man, she's gonna freeze out there. I hope whatever provisions that she has for her and Pod, I hope that they are enough to sustain them, as she tries to wait out the cold and see when she can rescue Sansa. What else do we get? We get I'll go to Marine first. So we get Jorah and Tyrion, and notice how they embellished Jorah's story. He killed Khal Drogo. He slayed 50 men with a flaming sword, that pike. Yeah, they made his deeds even more fantastical. And, Tyrion does his best to finagle. I mean, look, Tyrion is the best at finagling his way out of bad situations, and this time was no different. They get to the fighting pits. Daenerys is there, reluctantly, to see the fighters who are going to fight at the opening day games, and Jorah comes out, kicks ass, takes names, and then when he removes his helmet, Daenerys is like, "Get him out of my sight." And Jorah should have known better, man. He's thinking, oh, yeah, I'll just go there, beat up all these people, and Daenerys will let me again. And, sorry, bro. Sorry. Nah, doesn't happen that way. But at least, Tyrion showing up was kind of able to save him. We'll have to see what happens from there, because, when you see the previews or whatever, I believe, either next episode or episode 9, Tyrion is sitting in kind of the owner's box, or the VIP box, with Daenerys and Hizdahr, and it appears that Jorah is down in the fighting pits. So we'll see what happens with that. It's probably going to be something like, hey, well, if you survive, then I will let you back into my good graces, kind of, sort of thing. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then, last but not least, let's take it back to King's Landing. So, we get Olenna Tyrell. She has a meeting with the High Sparrow, and, much to her surprise and chagrin, the High Sparrow is actually real about what he's talking about. That he's like, hey, I don't care about your money. That's not what I'm here for. I don't care about all of this worldly stuff. You can try to bribe me. You can try, but I don't accept bribes. I'm here doing the work of the Seven, and Olenna Tyrell is kind of taken aback by this, because she's never met anybody who has pure motivations. So, she's thinking that the High Sparrow is Cersei's pawn, not realizing that, nope, he's playing his own game. You think he's on the same board with you, but no, he's playing his own game in a totally different arena. And, I think that when it comes down to it, Marjorie and Loras, might be found guilty if there's not a trial by combat of some sort. But let's say they're found guilty, right? They're found guilty of perjury. I can't imagine that the punishment would be, super severe to the point where, like, I can't imagine them being put to death over it, So we'll see what happens, or maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get a trial by combat with Loras Tyrell versus Sir Robert Strong. That would be kind of crazy. That would be crazy indeed. So, after Cersei speaks to the High Septon, well, before we even get to that, we got to get to Littlefinger, because as soon as, and I don't know why I keep calling him Littlefinger, he's Peter fucking Baelish. Yeah, so after we get Peter and Olenna Tyrell, as soon as he said that he was going to give Olenna Tyrell a gift, I already knew it was Lancel. And, I don't see how anybody wouldn't see that one coming, only because Lancel basically already said that he spilled the beans on everything. And I'm not sure. Like, I think Lancel was actually sincere about what he's doing, but there's a part of me that thinks, like, this is kind of crazy only because Lancel, if you think about it, really, he put himself in a crazy position by admitting that, but he's part of the Faith Middleton now. So I'm just wondering if this is what they're doing, if they've decided, okay, well, if you come to the faith and confess your sins, and I guess join the Faith Militant and all is forgiven. So if there was a trial of sorts, I guess that he could testify against Cersei, and he wouldn't have to worry about facing the kind of consequences that she would, because he went to the faith of his own volition. We'll have to see how that plays out, I guess, right? And, now back to, I guess the rest of it now. We get Cersei going to see Marjorie after she's had a meeting with Tommen, and Tommen is all distraught. And he's like, that's the queen. I can't get her out. I can't do anything. And Cersei was like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it because, I love you. You're my son and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'll go speak to the High Septon on your behalf and we'll get this all sorted out, right? So she goes to meet Marjorie. Marjorie, knows what the deal is already. She flips out on Cersei. Cersei then goes to see the High Septon, and he played this beautifully because Cersei is thinking, okay, yeah, this is a guy who's on my side, so I don't have anything to worry about, and since I don't have anything to worry about, I can pretty much do whatever it is that I want, right? I'm not going to be looked at the same way because, hey, I'm the one who alerted the High Sparrow to all of these goings on with Tyrells anyway, so, yeah, we're good, right? Fist bump and all that, right? All right, cool. And, might as well call the Gap Band because, High Sparrow dropped a bomb on her. Yeah, she was not expecting what happened to her to happen. And I know a lot of people are like, finally, Cersei is going to get her damn comeuppance. Finally, right? And, you know, we've already heard that she takes the walk of shame, similar to the previous High Septon. And I bet you now she wishes that she wouldn't have rearmed the Faith Militant and locked up the previous High Septon in the Black Cells. Because, you know, she is screwed. She is screwed. You know, she might have a better time with Ramsey right about now than what they're probably gonna do to her. But you know, she's still, obviously she doesn't get it, you know, because she tells that one Deceptor that locks her up, "Oh, look at my face. It's the last face you're ever gonna see, you know, before your last face you're gonna see before you die," or whatever. And it's just like, you're being locked in a damn dungeon cell. What the hell do you think you're gonna be able to do? You know, now it would be crazy if they actually showed Cersei, you know, with a sword and just chopping heads or whatever. That would be kind of crazy, but you know, I doubt that's gonna happen. But yeah, that was look. I like this episode a lot better than last week. You know, like I said, there were a couple of problems. The Sand Snakes, I don't know, they've kind of dropped the ball with Dorne overall. I mean, we haven't got to see enough of it. What we do see is inconsistent with the descriptions of Dorne that we've been given, and the Sand Snakes and Doran have not been given much to do that makes enough of an impact. King's Landing, like I said, I think that was a very good scene. You know, Peter Baelish is back in town, and you know, I think this is the first time where even he is a little nervous. You know, because he's in his brothel, he's looking around like everything. They didn't fucked up everything. Damn. Alright, cool. I'll figure out a way to fix this. But for right now, I think he's nervous. And this might be the first time that he's actually been nervous that I can recall. But, you know. Either way, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. I liked it. I gave the last one an 8. I'll give this one about 8.5. You know, it was better than the last episode, but still not, you know, knocking it out the park right about now. You know, yeah. So, rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more. Leave me suggestions for some other videos to do. Doesn't always have to be all Game of Thrones related, even though, you know, I know you guys love Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire, same way I do. Anyway, that's been my time. Don Willie, I'm out.